Hey, my peeps. Welcome to another episode of the Child Please podcast, Cocktails and Conversations. I have a special topic today that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that is about being a single mother, honey, because it's no joke. And I want to start out by saying, you remember that song, BABYMAMA. This goes out to all my baby mamas. Yeah, Fantasia, love her to death, honey. But that song right there, I was like, I am no baby mama. And in fact, I have gone off on somebody for calling me a baby mama because I'm like, I'm actually a child's mother because I'm a real parent. And, to me, I don't know if it's bias or whatever, but I'm like, we'll just call those degenerate late babies mamas. I'm not no baby mama. So without further ado, I wanted to go over you know, some different aspects as to how people derive the term and become a baby mama or whatever. I have my very good friend here today to discuss this matter with me, Miss Tawana. I appreciate your time, your energy, and everybody that I have scheduled on this journey has been there for me, has showed up, and one day when I make it, honey, okay, come on and sit next to Oprah on Oprah's couch. In the meantime, in between time, we at where we at. So yeah, I always go on Twitter. I don't know, like that's like my Twitter. It's like I call it my Twitter university. But so in researching this topic, I seen an excerpt written by a man that was saying that, there are different types of single moms. Like, number one, women who choose to be single moms, like the ones that don't want a man under their authority, or they just want to have a kid because of age specific issues, and wanting to have a child. And then those that are forced into single motherhood, like either widowed by a husband or raped, divorced, things of that sort. Or it just happened and you thought you were in a committed relationship, or you thought you were going to go somewhere, or you thought that you was going to get pregnant by somebody to keep them because you really enjoyed that particular guy at the time, or you thought he was so fine, or he was he was the man on the streets, or whatever the case may be. However you become a single mom, at the end of the day, it's work, and you never know how the kid may turn out. You never know what you're gonna get, so you just pray, honey, because that DNA is a real thing. So without further ado, my brings me to my first question for my guests is, how do you define the single mother dynamic, and how did you, what's your story of being a single mom?
My story started off with being a single mother is based off of a death. Um, my two older kids' father was murdered. Um, he was a part of their life before he got murdered. Um, so that's how that journey began, was because he was murdered.
Mm, that's pretty heart wrenching. And I would say that, as for me, my single mom and relationship or whatever, the journey began because I actually thought that my child and my child's father, we were going to, be something. And lo and behold, she came. It's like I knew immediately when I got pregnant. I could just feel it. Like we had went out and I was like, oh, I don't want no drinks and whatnot. But short story short is I became a single mom like after I gave birth to her, and our relationship pretty much dissolved because I found out that he was living a double life. So, with that being said, it's my story. Like, oh, never again. Um, let me let me wrap it on up and save it. And that's not to say accidents don't happen, things happen, life goes on. Like, but it is what it is. So with that being said, I wanted to also mention that have you ever heard of people saying like, oh, you're not a single mom if the dad gives you money or child support? Like, I call I call that some BS, to be honest,
Absolutely.
because there's so many layers and dynamic, when it comes to parenting. And that's part of the journey is parenting. Like, you can't just be a mom, go to work, come home, close your door. I mean, you want to do that sometimes, but you have to be in their face and ask those questions and be present as much as possible. And really make sure that they are involved in, some activities or something along the way. So, yeah, what's your opinion on people saying you're not a single mom if you get money from the dad?
My opinion on that is you can't speak or write a story or tell a person's story. You never know. You can get money from the father, but that's not helping physically and mentally. Being
Mm,
a parent, you have to be there more than just providing money. So if the mother is there more than the father doing that, then yes, you are a single mother.
mhm,
So I tell people all the time, until you know my story, you can't dictate what that means for me. Because yes, you can give me $20, $30 there, but we're spending more than that:
mm.
money, time, all of that. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm still a single mother.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, because just recently I had a conversation with someone and they were like, my significant other was like, you're not money from the dad. But again, money is not everything, and you're not even given enough money half the time. So that's a whole nother topic. And then on top of that, time, I do appreciate you spending the time with the child. That's important. And I'm just like, bags is packed, honey, if you want to come and and get her
Absolutely.
anytime, any place. And some women try to keep and toy with a kid and keep them away. And I'm gonna actually have a conversation about that around Father's Day as a follow up to this podcast. Big ups to the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day. I was supposed to record last month, but I was busy. So the next question I have is how do you parent, discipline, provide, cook, clothe? Like, what were some of the tricks of the trade and that sort of thing that you held down in rearing your kids?
It was a lot of patience. Let's just put that out there. I have four, so it was difficult because each child has their own personality. You have to discipline them in different ways. You can't just whoop them. You can't just beat them. So it's like I found out as being a single mom, talking to my children instead of beating helped out a lot more because they understand the situation and it kind of registers a little bit better. Um, there were times that I did have to take away certain things or whatever, but I never really beat my children as far as the discipline aspect goes.
Mm,
Um, because that's stress on us as parents too as well. Because children get rebellious when you start beating them and doing things of that nature. So I really, that topic about discipline, Chanel, you know, I really didn't beat them. So I was just a communicator, and it's gotten us a long ways because now that they're older, we can sit down and have those conversations as adults.
mm.
So
That's powerful. You know, and like I when I became a mother, I had all these things, honey. I read the books, what to expect when expecting. Like I said, oh, I wasn't gonna curse in front of my child. I wasn't going to have no drinks. All that went out the door because really like there's no manual on being a parent.
no,
And I do feel like, you know, like even the way our parents parented us, I know that we had more responsibility at certain stages and ages than, you know, our kids did today. And I also know that you know, certain triggers and certain ways that our parents parented us, you know, affected us long term. And so,
yes,
yeah, now that I, you know, am taking a reflective approach to parenting, I'm like, hell, she's 16 now. But I'm really just trying to do what you just said, you know, and communicate. I often find my times like I talk loud anyway, but
right,
I don't want to yell. I don't necessarily want to yell. I don't necessarily want to holler. And I'm trying to explain those things to my child. Like, do you think, you know, I want my blood pressure to go up and I want to be worried and hair turning gray? And no, honey, I ain't got time for that. You know what to do. You know how to do it. And yeah, so
you have to do that sometimes. You kind of have to put the ball in their court once you explain the situation and you let them know. You kind of have to back up a little bit, and I had to learn that because I was one of those parents, because like you said, generational curses from how we were raised. I
mhm,
wanted to like how I thought was right because that's how I was raised.
right.
So I had to realize, like, no, we're going to have to change the game here a little bit. And I had to back up and I had to let them know, like, you know, I'm giving you the tools to get out here and make it right. But if you continue to keep going against that, that's your consequence. And I'm not going to stress about it. I'm always going to be there to guide you, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to be there to hold your hand.
So
So
true.
yeah, it's very stressful, but we have to let them learn.
Hmm. Absolutely. And like the way that the things that the kids are faced with today as opposed to what we grew up, you know, faced with, like of course there were games and that sort of thing, but all the hypersexual stuff, the you know, the need to fit in, the social media, the you know, all these different dynamics, and them the kids nowadays, like they feel like they're privileged and you know can be ungrateful sometimes. And I think that part, as being a parent, is what hurts me more than anything because you know, like I remember my mom did make sure that we had nice things and stuff, but honey, we was wearing Lee jogging suits and XJ 900. Like, that was the level of nice.
Right. We were wearing Jordache and thought that was some Gucci material.
It was